Alright, hey everybody. It's been a long weekend. I hope everybody's enjoyed theirs. I guess the Europeans didn't have any special weekend, but for the rest of the Americans it has been. Adjust the music volume. Alright. But regardless, I hope everybody has had a good couple days since the last stream. It seems like it's been ages since I've streamed game development. But I think I can get right back into it. So, last stream, we finished up most of the loading for the mods. And I guess I'll just press play and see if we can load all the way through. And I expect that today we'll start on implementing Lua. So let's see. Okay, so we haven't actually hooked it up yet. It just skips it. I think that's because the asset loading scene still uses this all-in-one kind of test blob of code that I created just so that we could get through. So yeah, before we do Lua, I actually need to pull some of this stuff out into its own class to clean this up. And I also forgot we haven't implemented this mod translator yet, which actually builds the game database. But before I do that, I should make sure that loading is all good, so I think that's what I'll work on now. Okay, so we already have loading components. We'll need a phase. Okay, so let's just kind of copy how we did the play scene, and we'll just have a load flow manager. That will take care of changing the state whenever it receives events from other sources. Okay, and so this will have the asset loading controller. And the private state machine. We need to make sure that we're using Beluga. Okay, so phase, this controller, get or controller component. So can't type today. Get or register. Okay, so we have the loading components phase. Alright, then we need to have the initialization function, which is a state machine create. Okay, so that's all set up. So I guess we should add an actual class for the loading phase enumeration. So we'll start with none, and we can copy it pretty much over from here, except we'll be a little bit smarter with this. So we'll want to get the phase, then load, and then we'll have a ready check at the end. Maybe we should make sure don't forget anything by pulling up the diagram I created a couple weeks ago. Okay, so load assets. so the first phase, we request the parameters in server phase. Okay, so we load assets. And then, yeah, of course, if there's an error, then we exit out. And then, yeah, if we're in phase with the server, then we need to do this ready phase, but otherwise we can just skip. Okay. So first is server sync, then load assets, and then complete ready check. Okay, so yeah, when we first enter in, we can just go ahead and, well, we actually need to wait 1 frame to make sure everything gets initialized correctly. And then we can go ahead and set the phase to synchronize. So we'll just return 0. Okay, so if phase equals state equals 0, then it has been initialized, then we can set state. It's not gonna bring it up for me. We're not loading components, loading phase. Okay, so server synchronize. And then we'll just leave this here, and some other class which will watch the state machine will then do the logic for us. Basically, it just needs to do something like this. Okay, so I'm trying to decide. So we need to get the server synchronizer and then also the lobby parameters. Alright. Okay, so I guess we can, I mean, both of these are kind of easy, so we can probably just do one class, because they both just send a request to the server and then get some data back. So okay, so this will be server sync requester. So this will have the assets. Asset loading controller. I always forget what I named that class. Okay, and then we'll need state machine for the phase. We'll use controller. I can copy and paste this up actually from here. And then we need to register for whenever the state changes. So new simple listener int. This will be throw away the state argument. So on phase change. Oh, I don't want property, I want. Oh, it's not. Oh, I need to do this. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to generate the method. Right, so if phase state equals int loading phase server sync. Oh, and I just pressed left instead of down, so it exited out of the menu. Alright. So here we would actually send the messages. But I know from similar classes in the play controller that we also need to watch to see if we're connected, probably. So let's see. I guess I can see something similar. Where is it? The choice, get actions from server. Okay, so yeah, we actually repeat here. And that just lets us keep on sending this message to request the lobby parameters. I think I might just copy and paste this class and use it as a base. I know I've already written some, but not much. Okay, but we can't use the connection manager, so I'll have to figure out. I think, don't we have the R connection watcher, which watches our connection to the server. This will be a little different, but we just have the one phase instead of two. Okay, so this is controller game. Why did I do that? Oh, because this changed that, so I need to do the asset loading controller. Alright, so controller, game components. And this is supposed to be a loading component. Oh, actually it's a global component, so. Okay, so I know this has a connection state. So here we got the phase, and this should be actually a loading component. We don't need those for now. Okay, and this is the message that we send back, so I guess I'll go ahead and keep this around. Message on synchronized. Okay, delete that. And this will be a loading component. So on synchronized with server. And go ahead and create this enumeration member. Alright, and here, yeah, it's just pushing the face, so yeah, that's all good. And here we're actually registering for our handler. Yeah, which I guess this will work okay. Because this will be the only handler that's active in this scene that we'll need to get this information from the server. Yeah, the confusing thing about these message keys is that you can only have one handler per type, so I was trying to decide if I needed to do something more complicated, but I think this will be the only object that will want to subscribe to this messenger, so I think it'll be fine. But where is it? Request lobby parameters. So on lobby response. Yeah, be a network message. Okay, and so our active if phase equals loading phase server sync and connection phase equals I think I have to do int r, or what is it, client connection state connected. I should make sure that's the right enumeration. Yeah. Should maybe rename this to like my connection state. And this should really be my connection watcher, I'm not sure. I guess our connection watcher is fine, but oh yeah, I need to rename the file name. Can I do it from up here? No. I really wish, like sometimes it will let you, if you rename the class, it renames the file automatically, but it seems like it gets confused if you change the namespace. Okay, so let's rename. Alright. Okay, so we also have another part where we have to call this server phase synchronizer because we want to make sure that we get the synchronization. So maybe, okay, we should have, I still think this is simple enough that we can put it all in this one file, but we'll have like a mini state machine here. Okay, so it'll have, oh, I guess we'll call this inactive. And so phase lobby complete. Alright, so if state is inactive, okay, it seems to be a little different, I think. Okay, let's actually make a separate state machine. This will actually make things a little easier for me, which will be my state. And we won't even add this into the components. We've got to give it the initial state. Okay, so my state dot enter subscribe new simple listener on my state change, and this will actually be triggered when we change the state ourselves, but it will make it easier to know when to start doing stuff. Alright, so switch state my state. Alright, so if we just change into the phase, then we want, oh, I shouldn't name it phase, I should rename it sync. So I need to also get the server phase synchronizer object. Okay, so synchronizer, and then we call the synchronize function. Alright, so let's just go one at a time. So this is refresh. Let's rename this to refresh. Let's actually change it to on loading phase. If I can spell. And then private void on my connection change. Because really this won't be right here. On loading phase changes if my state. Let's switch here actually. So if this is inactive, then if phase equals int loading phase. Okay, so if we just entered the loading or the server synchronized phase, then we change my state to the sync state. And when we do that, that will trigger this code. If it's anything else, then we need to exit. Oh wait, we need to go this way actually. And then repeat helper dot active equals my state. Okay, we should actually pull this out. So private void refresh message send active. Sender active. And this will only send if we're connected and my state equals lobby. And then we can call this here and then also here. Okay, and here also if my connection state. Actually, maybe I didn't need to do this like this, because if my connection state is not connected, then we need to reset the phase, but okay, then we set my state to 0. And I think then I can pull this function out. Or, I mean, put this back in right here. Because now this state will always be 0 if we're not connected, so this is redundant. Okay, no, that's still fine. Okay, so we can do that. This should go up here, actually. I think that's going to throw errors. So let's move it down. Okay, yeah, just to keep things clean. Try and keep these together. I think we actually need that right there. Alright, so now we can fix this part. Okay, well let's just go and finish what would happen, or what would proceed us from the sync state. And for that we need to get the synchronizer. And we can copy this. Okay, so was a server face sync is the name of it. Alright, and then we need to subscribe to the unsynchronize message. So on server phase synchronized. I'll move this a little bit downward to try and keep things organized here. Okay, so if my state is sync, then we know this is all complete, so we can move on. So we go to the lobby next. Okay, and then we move to the lobby, then this repeat helper would activate, and then it would call this send query message. So I don't think we have to do this. So it's lobby, request lobby parameters. I think it's just an empty message. Let's look in the server code and make sure it doesn't request any or expect anything else. On request parameters. Yeah, it doesn't even care about the message. Okay, so on lobby response. And here we need to make sure that we're in the right state. State lobby. Okay, now we can decode the message. So lobby parameter message equals net message. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so if message does not equal null, then we know we received correct parameters. So not sure how I translated backwards now. Let's look. I think lobby controller is what took care of it. Yeah, copy from message. Right now we just do the slots, but I wonder if I can just move this in. Like our action list message has a to action, so I wonder if I could do the same thing here. Public lobby params to params. Okay, so lobby parameters equals new. Okay, yeah, so it only basically just translates what this data is directly into the actual lobby parameters object. And Alt Enter. Okay, cool. And I guess in the lobby controller we should go ahead and use that. Okay, so LP equals message dot two parameters. So that way I want to have two places with different code going around. So let's see. I think now I need to register this. Well, I'd really rather not create a new class because some other objects might have a reference to the current lobby parameters. So I kind of like so maybe this lobby params message, instead of creating a new lobby parameters, it will actually take a reference to one. Let's just call this copy to, and then we can say LP slots clear. And now I need to make sure that I create a constructor here that will create the list for me. View params, so slots equals new. And then I guess I can go ahead and do content mods, even though we don't support that yet. Okay, and then here all I have to do is put LP right there and change this to copy to. Alright, so now if you remember from Moddable Chess, we had this problem where we would create a new board object, and then since almost every class depended on the board, it had to listen to a message to see when the board object changed and get a new reference. So it's easier if you just keep the same object for things like this. I guess another way I could have done it is a subscribable object, but no, I think this will be okay. So lobby params, and this is also in the game component, so I'll copy this. Okay, so now I can just say message copy to lobby params. Okay, and this just makes sure that we're for sure have the same data that the server has at this point. Okay, so I think we're done there. Okay, so actually, yeah, I need to change the state to complete. So my state equals int. Okay, no, I can't actually do that, so set it to inactive. And then I could just call the onSynchronized object here. Alright, so now I think we're good. Let's move back up to the asset loading controller and take out some of this. So we don't need this at all. Okay, so this is just saying that if they're the host, we skip the phase, the get phase, but we'd actually want to do that for the host now, so we can. Yeah, so the controller really should not have any of this code, and it won't once we're done. But okay, here's what I wanted to find. So let's go ahead and subscribe to that synchronized message. Register just a message. Loading components on synchronize with server. Alright, so we can go ahead and subscribe. So subscribe new simple listener. Okay, so on synchronize complete. That's fine, I guess. Oops, I think I pressed. Oh yeah, I pressed F11 by accident. Don't really want to debug. Stop. Alright. Yeah, I was just starting up the debug interface, but I don't even think that works with Unity right now, unfortunately. So if phase state equals int loading phase server sync then we can proceed to the next phase. Oops. Which is the load assets. Okay, so yeah, actually I just thought of another phase we'll need. Oops, I didn't want to pull that up. We have the load assets, and then we have organize assets, which we started on before. Okay, so let's go ahead and on the asset loading controller, I'm just gonna like delete pretty much everything here. Let's see, do I really? I'm trying to decide if I need to keep anything here. I guess I can comment some of the stuff. Tick, it's a sense of ready check. Good phase. Okay, yeah, so this is make sure that if we're synced, then we do a ready check. Okay, so I guess I can keep the load next screen there. Alright, so now I need to add the various classes here, so the load flow manager and what is it? Server sync requester and new asset. Oh, no, that's not it. I'm trying to look over here. Oh, mod loader. Should probably rename that to asset loader, but it's private. This should be public. So let's rename this to asset loader, because I mean it does load mods, but it loads all the assets from a mod. So I already have an asset loader class, yeah, so I guess I'll just do this here. The asset loader actually loads a specific asset, so okay, I'm gonna make sure that didn't cause any problems. Alright, so I guess let's press play and see how far we get. Assertion failed. Okay, something wrong in the mod loader, but we got through. Server connection status loading. Oh, I think it's because the mod loader does not wait to start. Oh, I have something in the constructor actually, so let's look. Oh well, that's not going to be much help. Okay, so mod loader constructor at line 37. Okay, so usually this happens if more than one object is using this loaded assets, but oh, this isn't the game component, so that's a problem. Alright, so let's see if we can get past that this time. Server face loading. Okay, I think I know what's wrong. This flow manager, I did not subscribe to receive the ticking calls. Okay, so controller, activatable list, add new ticking janitor, controller, game, this. Okay, so now we should receive these messages. Okay, how we do? And the server sent us back. And I think now it says waiting. Okay, so one thing I'm also going to borrow from the play scene is the printouts whenever we change the loading phase. What is that? Flow manager. See right here. This really helps with debugging. Alright, so this is the loading phase. Alright, so now we should see that it makes it all the way through to the load assets phase. Yeah, which we do right there. But right now the mod loader does not know to start up. Now should the mod loader deal with that, or should some other class? Maybe another class, because it would watch to see when we have to exit the phase and things like that. think what I want to do. Well, I mean, it could be another class. I can call these functions on the mod loader. Oh, we already have this load mod. So how would it know when to clean up? I mean, the easy way would be when the phase exits that it needs to clean up instead of having another callback. So maybe that's just what I'll do. It's not that complicated. So don't need this anymore. Okay, so let's just get state machine. And this will be loading phase. Equals controller components get or register state machine. Oops. Don't see it. Did I delete the phase by accident? Oh no, it's right here. Definitely does. Oh. Yeah, I'm using the wrong enumeration. So sorry, Visual Studio, you are correct. State machine create. And then we need to subscribe to whenever the state changes. Okay, so on phase. Oh, come on. Fingers, please cooperate with me. Alright. Doesn't want to generate that for me, so that's okay. On phase change. Okay, so what's complaining about? Delegate action does not take one argument. Oh, I forgot the generic type argument. Okay, so one thing I just realized is this cleanup. So one way the mod loader could kind of take care of itself is if it had the error state as well. But that would be a little bad because then it would have to like make sure that we'd have to make sure the error is set before the phase changes, because that's when the cleanup message would be triggered. Yeah. Okay, so I guess did all that work for nothing, but I think it's a better idea to just have something outside control this. Okay, so then we'll have clean up assets, or clean up loaders, and this will have a boolean because we'll know if we want to dispose all. Let's change this to dispose loaders. So now this mod loader does not care about anything else. It just relies on different things to call these functions for it. Okay, so now we need to make another class. So let's just call this the mod load manager. Okay, and this class will have a state machine for the loading phase, and it will also have a subs. Okay, well, let's not worry about errors just yet. I was thinking that I need to get a subscribable bool for the error, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Okay, so this is the asset loading controller. Right, controller. So we need to get the loading phase, but I'll go ahead and copy that from this class. No reason to type it out again. Okay, so if loading phase state equals int load assets, then we know we need to start loading everything up. So let's get the command as well. This is to load mod command. And I can copy this from here. And just so I don't forget about errors, I'll make a little note in here. Oh, I guess this should be down because it's actually before. Okay, so error handling during asset loading, make sure to dispose. Alright. So we also need the lobby parameters here. Equals controller, game, components, get, yeah, I guess we just get lobby parameters, and global components, oh come on, there we go. And the reason we need this is because we got to load each mod in. One thing is this mod loader, well, right now we just worry about loading in the assets that the mods ask for. We don't care so much about the logic. We don't even run any scripts yet, so I was just thinking that unlike Mod World Chess, which only had one type of mod and just one mod, this game has two types of mods, and you can have multiple. First type is like the framework mod, which basically are things that only one mod can decide, like how do you decide which players go first. things like that. So it's mostly game logic. And then the content mods are basically what this mod loader would load, but I guess the framework mod does load Lua scripts, so the model. But I guess when it loads in here, I'd be able to tell what type because it asks for the table of contents first, so that's okay. Alright, so anyway, the reason I was thinking about that is because I wasn't sure if we needed two different commands here, one to load the framework mod and one to load all content mods, but for each var content mod and LP content mods load mod command p dot oops. Okay, so that's it. There's also like, well, the map is actually contained in one of the content mods, and so I guess we'd have a map name or something, but we can worry about that later. Okay, so now we just need to wait until everything is finished loading. So does the mod loader I'm trying to think, do we need to go ahead and dispose of stuff right away when we go out of the state, or should I just wait until the scene is complete to clean up everything? The only difference is that we have this dispose assets, which I wish that we could kind of separate disposing the loaders from the assets, but the loaders actually can contain the objects until they've been sorted. Okay, so actually, yeah, how it would work. Yeah, we'd only dispose the assets if there's an error during this loading phase. Yeah, I think, because if we successfully move through the loading phase, then we just dispose the loaders. So I guess we kind of do need to wait. Yeah, so some other class will take care of that. Okay, so I think that's all this class has. Looks kind of simple, doesn't it? Alright, so new mod load manager. Okay, so let's just see how far I get. Okay, so we're going to the assertion fail, which usually means there's a type mismatch. This is at mod loader 73. Huh. Logic query 103, let's see. Okay, so either, okay, so the function hadn't been set yet. Okay, I bet yeah, I probably forgot to create this class. Yeah, that's what I did. So, Tactical Lizard Tamer game, we need to create the table of contents loader. Okay, what's it complaining about? Oh, I made it private by accident. Okay, so let's see if we can get through that now. Okay, so it's on the load assets. Surprised we didn't get any errors, but maybe we did, but I just don't do anything with it. Okay, so let's clean this up a little bit. Because I'm pretty sure we get an error because the table of contents doesn't exist. But I think I just don't do anything with the exception yet. So I guess I'll just go ahead and print out the exception for now. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, so news. Trying to subscribe to it. Subscribe. New simple listener. And this is mod loading exception on error. So let's generate a method and let's pull it down to the bottom. So we could just debug, or we've got to start with the Unity engine, debug, log, error, exception dot message. I guess I can actually log exception. Log exception. And that way we can get the call stack. Okay, yeah, it says cannot load table of contents missing folder. I figured something like that was going on. Okay, so what I've got to do, I should probably just create a dummy mod. I thought I did. I guess I didn't actually create a good table of contents. So can't find folder. Okay, so maybe let's look at the table of contents loader and let's print out. Okay, so the folder it's being passed doesn't even exist. Oh, and you know what? I think it's because the lobby parameters has null strings. So yeah, it's looking for a null folder, which of course doesn't exist. So I need to fill this out. Okay, so let's call this testing. And then this will be test. I'll make test content as well. Alright, let's show and explore. And I'll just copy this and rename this test content. Now that I think about it, the two, we probably should have different like file types for the table of contents. I'll have to think about that. So the pros and cons. The pro would be that we could control exactly the type of data that each mod could hold. The con is that we need two separate table of contents loaders. Well, I mean, it's not going to throw an exception if there's data missing. It would just be null. Yeah, so I think for ease of use, I think I should just have all mods use the same table of contents, and then obviously if it's not a certain type of mod, then some fields would be left empty. Okay, so that's okay. So let's see. What was I doing? Oh yeah, testing and test content. Let's see if it runs without an error now. Or it's gonna have some error, but... Okay, so it's still telling me missing folder. Okay, and that makes me wonder... Okay, so it just... Alright, so what I need to do actually... I think nothing actually uses that test parameter. Like it doesn't ever set that to the lobby parameters, now that I think about it. Let's see. Let's find all references. Yeah, nothing does that yet. So what I need to do is back here in the lobby. That's not what I wanted. Right here. What do I set? Okay, yeah. So yeah, we will have a couple other parameters here for the lobby. I'm surprised I didn't think of this earlier, because I was just saying that these the mod parameters aren't being used. But we'll need public string framework mod and public string content mods. And this will just be the name. Content mod names. And now that I think about it, I should probably do the same thing here. The name as opposed to the folder. Okay, so op.framework mod name equals name, and then for let's first close the content or clear the content mod names folder, and then for int m equals 0 m less than content mod names length. Okay, so content mod names add m. Okay, so that's all good. Alright. And so now I need to set that here in the lobby. So message dot content mod names equals test param. Can I do that? Yes. These are both arrays. Oh, I think I can just say 2 array. Oh no, it was just telling me an error because this line was not complete. Okay, so table of contents. Yeah, just look, it's a folder. We actually need something that can transform the folder into or the mod name into the folder. I guess this won't deal with it. Okay, so here we actually load the folder, so it needs to be something here or in the mod load manager. Okay, so private string get mod folder. And this will be pretty easy. For now, we can just say path. Okay. System IO path combine application. Okay, so I need to do another Unity engine application. Streaming assets path and then the mod name. So now we can just get mod folder. Mod names. What I still need to do get mod folder. Alright. So let's see what we get now. It shouldn't give us missing folder regardless. It still does missing folder, okay. So now I think we need to print out exactly what is it giving us, or what is this. So Unity engine debug log folder. Okay, so now we can just see what is being passed and what's having trouble loading. Okay, so this looks right. So what's it having problems with? Yeah, streaming assets. Oh, it's actually under the mods folder. Okay, that's the problem. Okay, so I need to do another path combine. Okay, so stream mod folder equals. And this will probably, I'm sure we're going to have this somewhere else, so I want to someday pull this function out into a place a bit more global, but for now this is okay. So let's try this one more time. Now it's saying XML exception, which is better because I think it's just saying that the XML is not formed correctly. So it found the folder and the name, but yeah, I can't deserialize, and I think that's because the XML files are empty actually. Open one and see. Streaming assets, mods, testing table of contents, yeah, nothing. Okay, so maybe we can copy from model chess, so we won't have to worry about the format. So assets, streaming assets, mods, chess. Alright, so alright, and then I think we can change this language to XML to make it easier to see. Okay, so the name is just testing, display name, testing, version. Okay, so it's actually May 30th, I think. Okay, so we don't have a board size, don't need this stuff. Yeah, all this is specific to chess, so we don't need it anymore. Let's look and see what else is in the table of contents. So name, display name, version, author. Okay, we can wait on that kind of stuff. The mod type is important though, so let's go ahead and add it. Mod type. So this is a framework. Alright, so now I'm gonna copy this and we'll open the test content mod. And this will be content. Okay, so let's name this. Okay. Alright, so one thing I just realized is some of the stuff might like assume that the mod folder and the mod name are the same, like the name as given here, which is not necessarily true. Trying to so I guess actually what we need to do is the mod load manager here. Instead of just using the mod names directly from here, we need to like look through a list of local mods and find the correct one. So let's we don't need to do that right this second though. Look through list of local mods and match the names and the lobby parameters to the correct folders. Let's write something here. I'll just leave it here in the to-do. I don't know exactly when we'll get to it, but mod load manager match mod names to folders. Okay. Okay, so let's see if it'll load that XML now. Okay, yeah, I got through everything. So let's do the next part. Song is a bit creepy with the weird breathing in the background. So
where am I? This place is noisy.
I'm trying to clear out songs with vocals for my playlist, but it keeps on giving me them. Alright.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
And another one. We're just having bad luck. Alright. Guess where was I? Okay, so actually, yeah, everything was done. So I guess one last thing I'll do is does the mod loader, when does it signal it's complete? So this is, yeah, compiling assets. So it just assumes that when it puts this loaded value in there that it's complete. So I guess that works. So let's see. So we go to the loading flow manager. I think it's easier if I just use a message. So private message on loading complete. Let's go right here. So on loading complete equals, just copy this. Oops. Come on. Alright, so this is a message. Alright, you can just get rid of that type argument, and this would be mod load complete. And then I'll just call it down here. Right here. On load complete, send. Okay, and I can copy this because we'll be able to use it in the flow manager. Dot subscribe, new simple listener on mod load complete. This down farther. Alright, so if this is on load assets, we move right away to organize assets. Okay, so I just wanted to have that in so that way I can make sure it finishes loading. Although there's nothing really to load, but yeah, so it doesn't go any farther than that. That's because, yeah, again, I think I forgot to register myself. I'll register the tick function. Oh no, I have this here. But I don't add it to the activatable list. Once it's done, then, oops, active equals false, and also if we're forcibly stopped, then false. And this would only happen if there's an error. Okay, so now we go through all the way to organize assets. Perfect. Okay, so cool. Now do I actually do this Lua stuff? So might as well. Okay, so luckily I just did a tutorial on setting up Lua, so if you're interested in that, that was my last stream on Friday. It's up on YouTube, but you can kind of copy a lot of the same stuff here. Okay, so we'll have sharp interpreter. Okay, I think it's called a script. But we'll actually be running multiple scripts from here. So this is actually the environment. Okay, so public environment. I guess I'll have a technical as a Tamer game just in case. Actually, when do we create this? I guess it would be global. Or is it just in the... we'll just put in the game components. I mean the game data. I could do it like this. I guess it depends. Where does the modulator get this? Okay, let's open that back up. So far I think it's the only thing that uses the scripts. Okay, so it just creates it. Well, that's fine actually. Yeah, it would create a new one and then it just inserts it into the loaded assets right here. Which I did do, but I don't actually set right here. So Lua environment equals Lua. Okay, I just call it scripts. So we got here, we'll go ahead and set this up. Environment equals new script. Okay, now this is one thing in Moonsharp where you set what's called sandboxing. Let me pull it up so I can explain exactly. Where is it? Reference. That's not what I wanted. Cancel. Okay, here. And this basically just tells you what Lua functions you want to be inside, or you want users to be able to use. Like for example, you don't want to use these operating system or the I/O because then scripts could read and delete files, which obviously isn't good. So what I'm going to do is the preset hard sandbox, which is just this basic stuff, plus metatables and error handling. The coroutine couldn't really cause any problems. Okay, so I guess we can do the soft sandbox. I mean, it's easy to change, obviously. So core modules, soft sandbox. Okay, so that's all set up. And now here, So this file is called. Okay, so try. You can kind of no exception. No, that's not wanted. IO exception. Oh, I know it's not coming up because I need to use system.io. But Lua or Moonsharp has this like read file or do file, but you don't get to specify how it loads that file. So I like to use the do stream instead. So buffered stream equals a new file stream. Okay, and so we have file access, read, and file mode open. And if you've never seen this using keyword use like this, it just means that when you exit this block, it will automatically dispose the stream for you, so you don't have to try and do it yourself. So now we just call environment. Well, we want to get the dynamic value from it. And dynamic value is just like Lua variables can have basically they're untyped, meaning that they can have all different kinds of data. And I guess we should set this to new nil. And so that Moonsharp deals with that with these dynamic values. And so basically you can ask what kind of type they are when you actually use them. So we'll get, no, not stream, it's environment, do stream. Does it have this code-friendly name? Okay, so this is used for error handling, so that's nice. I guess I'll just call it file. Actually, let's pass debug name. And then we'll also want to catch script. How did I handle this before? Because if I handle the exceptions in here, the outside class won't know if they've been thrown. Okay, so I don't handle them, I just... Yeah, so this is fine. Just the outside code will actually handle any errors. Okay, so return value. Alright, so get global. This gets this excuse me. This just gets a global value out of the Lua environment. So I shouldn't really use function name, it's more like global name. Why is it complaining? Oh, because I need to call it get. That's not right either. Oh. Oh gosh, I'm messing up the syntax all kinds of ways. There we go. Okay, so that's good. And then dispose just empties out, or disposes the environment. But do we have to do that? Okay, dump, that just gets all the values out of it. I'm trying to see if there's a dispose here. If we just set it to null, maybe it would just get cleaned up. That's probably it. So set this to null and then everything gets unloaded. Okay, so that's it for now. Okay, so now we can load everything. Oh, there's an error up here. Let's see what. Oh yeah, it's asking. I think I set it to get the lizard game, but we don't actually need that right there. Okay, so let's play the game and see. Oops, still an error. Oh yeah, I need to send the debug name. So I don't think I keep that around, do I? So the mod path and the asset path. Yeah, this is a nomenclature here is a little weird. Let's rename this to asset file path, and then I'll have private string debug name, and this debug name can just be the asset path, which is like whatever is given in the table of contents. So maybe I should rename that table of contents path. I don't know if that's correct actually. And the script name, because only it returns what's before the function. Okay. So maybe I can say asset path. That's fine. All right. Anyway, then down here, debug name. Don't need that. Okay. Is that good now? Test params mode is never assigned to. Oh, that's fine. Lots of stuff in the test params is not used, but that's. I should really go turn off warnings in that file, but. Okay, so yeah, we loaded successfully to the organized assets, but of course we didn't have any Lua files to load. Okay, so now we have this mod translator, which I think I'll rename to asset organizer. Asset organizer. Okay, now this, I just realized this loaded assets only has one table of contents, but we actually have multiple. So how do I store this? Okay. Guess we can't do that right there. I guess we should have a list of table of contents. I think how we'll do it is we'll have a framework here, because we know we only have one. Framework table contents, and then private list contents content tables of contents. and here we need to be able to decide if this is framework or not. And this is probably too simplistic, but mod type to upper invariant equals framework. And this will be the framework table of contents. We can do other things. We need to throw an error if we're given 2 frameworks, probably. Although that should never happen because the lobby should prevent it. Okay, so now I need, yeah, here's what I was looking for. So we need framework, table of contents, and then a list. Oops, not private. Of the, well, now that I think about it, let's see. The assets, like this stuff can't really be shared between mods. And different mods, sorry about that, could have assets with the same name, and so that would cause a collision. Let's see, so how do I want to do this? I'm trying to think if there's any reason that mods want to share an asset. Seems like if they did, then they would be better. It'd be a better idea just to combine them, or separate that out into one single mod, and then just load that separately. So it's class loaded mod. Okay, so table of contents, and then I guess we need to have a separate dictionary for each, for their own assets and functions, but the environment is still global. Just so loaded mod framework, and then we'll have a list. A simple constructor to create that list for me. I guess I should do the same thing here. So assets equals new. XML equals new, and Lua functions equals new. Why did it do that? Alright. So now I'm wondering, do I need to have a separate list of loaders for every mod? This is actually, they're dictionaries because we need to know if a specific mod tries to load 2 of the same. Maybe I shouldn't have separated everything out now that I think about it, and the dictionaries could have, the key could have like a combination of the mod and then the asset name. Something to think about. Also, yeah, if I'm going to enforce that mods can't load files outside their folder, I need to make sure that the asset paths don't contain a double dot, because that means go back. That means go to the parent folder. So let's see. I'll just write a note for that. Okay, so forbid double dot and mod asset names. Yeah, and also, well, I don't have to worry about absolute paths because that wouldn't work, because I prepend the mod folder name to the beginning. Okay, so yeah, I guess I really do need to have like a separate hash for each mod. Okay, well, yeah, what I need to have a dictionary for the current mod that's loading, and then we can, only while this function is being called, we need to keep that around. But then we'd have to have a list of all these loaders that would persist, and that's what we'd loop through down here. Okay, so let's see here. I wonder, it'd be really nice if I could have all of these classes be like under an interface, so I don't have to keep a separate dictionary for each. I wonder if that's possible. So for each, because I could just have a class named, a function named ready, and then this code would be different for each, which is fine. Let's think about that. So I asset loader okay, so it's an interface. So let's see, what would the mod loading need? It would need public bool. Yeah, no public and interfaces. So bool is ready. And then maybe mod loading, load exception, get error. Okay. Guess we can see if that's possible. So let's see, for the asset cache, yeah, is ready is basically, this is compile, so yeah, this is ready. Okay, and then we need either success or error. Bool load success, and then probably we should have void dispose bool dispose asset. Okay, so let's go one by one. Let's see if we can do this. Asset loader. Okay, so is ready equals state is not loading. And load success equals state equals success. Okay, error. Let's see. Okay, well, yeah, this, yeah, the asset bundles we don't actually do anything. So here we'd always just return a new load exception. Nothing. Bundle exception. Let's have some dummy text there. Why is it? Oh, it's public. Is that really that big of a deal? Let's see. It's gonna make this a public class. Not that it really matters. Okay, and I already have dispose up here. And bool. I don't think this will ever really happen, but okay, so now onto the asset loader. Asset. Maybe before I do any more, we should make sure that it works here in the mod loader. Okay, so I want to make sure I don't mess anything up horribly. So we'll have a dictionary to the string and then asset loader. And this will be the loader map and then asset loader active loaders. New and active loaders equals new. Okay, so for each var loader and active loaders, we just call loader.dispose assets. Alright, so that's easy. So we have loader map. So where's the asset path? So the asset path is given here in the bundle. Yeah, it's for the end of the asset path, so that the names would never be the same. Okay, so we need to try to get value. So asset loader bundle loader interface. I don't know exactly what to call this, but yeah, I guess what I can do. Okay, So as bundle loader, and that should take care of that. Oh, why is it complaining? Use, oh, I need to say null here. Bundle loader, so bundle loader equals new, and then loader map. Oh, you can, but I think it's Y assets loader. Now let's go ahead and create dummy functions. Alright, and it's 9, so I guess we'll complete this tomorrow. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to pretty much end on time nowadays since we're going a little later, but thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I know this was a different time than normal, so a lot of my usual viewers aren't here unfortunately, but I think this time will be better for me, so I hope you can forgive me. Now I can think of the streams as just something kind of relaxed at the end of the day, so that will be nice anyway. But I'll have the YouTube video up in the morning in case you missed some, so feel free to check it out in my channel description, and then of course you can subscribe, or not subscribe, follow to be notified when I go live next, and I'll tweet about it too. So, alright, hope to see you tomorrow, and we'll continue on with this. Alright, thanks, bye bye.